review board that you mentioned is only looking at police shootings. Is that perhaps maybe too limited? What about other police-involved deaths, like those from police restraint? For example, in Culver City, we had an example of a man who's not yet been identified this year, who passed away 3 days after being restrained by the police department. He was restrained until he was unresponsive. And so I'm just curious if those kinds of deaths are also going to be part of your review process.
Yeah, and Shelley, I'm actually glad that you asked the question because I probably misspoke. It's police-involved death. So we're looking now. This review at this point is a look back because there are about 600 death cases that go back to 2012. So that's what they're looking, and the way they're doing their work is the law school, the clinic is doing the first screening, law students to see whether there's evidence of potential criminal acts, and then if they do, then they pass it on to the citizen/civil rights lawyers, which is they have the group of both victims of police violence and families and some civil rights lawyers that take a second look. They only have access to public information, but we will give them all the public information. Then if they sort of develop the belief that this thing needs to be really investigated, then it will be bumped up to our special prosecutor. If it's an old case, the more newer cases are coming into our regular unit that we're going to start enlarging the size of that unit. So it's police-involved death. Frankly, eventually I'd like to get to the place that it's not even just death. I mean, there are other uses of force and other, allegations of potential police criminal behavior that should be attended. But right now, just because of the amount of work, we're concentrated on death. And I think many of you may remember that when I was running for office, just looking at public information, myself and several others, we looked at a little over 50 officer-involved shootings that we identified 4 that we were going to reopen, and those are the first that the special prosecutor is going to look at. And a really important component of the special prosecutor that I want to bring out to your attention, and it was one of the commitments that I made during the campaign, the special prosecutor will have all my authority, meaning that I will give him all the authority that I have, but he, and it's a he in this case, is Mr. Middleton, will work completely independently, meaning that he will make a decision whether to go forward with the case or not without any influence from me. And I did that for a very specific reason, at least to the look back of the cases. I wanted to have a completely pristine approach that no one could say is somehow influenced by the DA. So Mr. Middleton will have completely unfettered access to information. He will have support, but he will make an independent decision.
Great. And then my second question was just, there are